Well, good morning. This is Ian R. Crane. It's the morning of Thursday, 18th January 2018. And as you can see, I'm in a somewhat different location today. I'm in Mansfield, at Mansfield Magistrates Court, where later this morning I should be supporting two of the people who were arrested yesterday at Misson Springs. And this was a clear escalation of gratuitous aggression by Notts Constabulary. And it was a classic display of corporate enforcement. Now, call it a hunch, but I would say that IGAS are liaising directly with the police, and IGAS, of course, are desperate to complete the pad construction by the end of the month, because Clause 21 of their planning permission specifically prohibits them from continuing on the construction phase of the well site, if they haven't finished, beyond the end of the month, because of the bird breeding season, and and in particular the SSSI, the Site of Special Scientific Interest, that adjoins the Misson Springs well site. So, you know, with 12 days or so to go, they are desperate to complete this phase, and it seems that they have engaged Notts Police to do everything they possibly can to ensure that they achieve that. This is not balanced policing. This is certainly not policing facilitating any kind of peaceful protest. And we shouldn't really be surprised, because what we're seeing with the corporatocracy now is they are determined to shut down any form of protest. And we're seeing this right now with the government seeking to get an injunction against the protesters of HS2, and of course INEOS, who are effectively riding roughshod over prevailing legislation by getting their injunction against any form of active protest against any of their intended fracking operations. But the good news is that the first INEOS application to be submitted to Derbyshire County Council, this is the Hart Hill application, and I'm pleased to say that Derbyshire County Council's Planning Committee have rejected this application. And INEOS, of course, are not exactly making friends at any stage of the process, but they're not in the business of making friends. Of course, they're just in the business of making shed loads of money for the senior executives, not least, of course, Jim Ratcliffe. Now, so here we are at Mansfield Court, and of course, Mansfield is very much in the news at the moment, as it's been revealed that the local MP, Ben Bradley, some years ago now, apparently in 2012, but he called for the unemployed to have vasectomies. And of course, this is very much reminiscent of Lang Hancock's interview in 1984. Lang Hancock, of course, is the father of Gina Reinhardt, who effectively is Queen of Western Australia. But Lang Hancock said that, you know, in his opinion, then the abos should be sterilised, because they had no useful part to play in modern society. And he did make an exception. He said those, of course, that have integrated into the Western way of life, you know, that's okay. But those who wanted to retain their traditional lifestyle should be sterilised. Well, you know, this is, of course, a classic example of the corporatist compassion. In fact, that is a complete contradiction of terms, because there is zero compassion in corporatocracy. It's all about greed, greed, and more greed. And you know, even using the term human resources tells you exactly what you are. You are a resource to be used, abused, and discarded on a whim. So anyway, IGAS, of course, this is the last day for submitting objections to Notts County Council against the IGAS application to effectively neuter Clause 21 in their planning permission. And the emails that need to be sent and I'm sure somebody can put it on the bottom of the video, but it's development.manager@notscc.gov.uk. That's notscc, notscc.gov.uk. So get your application or get your objection in today, and let's just see whether or not Notts County Council do the right thing. And of course, as I said yesterday, thanks to Ben Dean for his research, he has established that it is unconstitutional for this override to be decided by a planning officer. It must go before the full planning committee of Notts County Council. So you know, let's hold their feet to the fire here. Well, meanwhile, of course, Third Energy, and of course the links with Carillion, and it is becoming, you know, very evident that Greg Clark has been in discussion with Carillion for probably now best part of 3 months. So it's unthinkable that he really wasn't aware of the magnitude of the problem, particularly regarding government contracts that were held by Carillion. And consequently, he will have undoubtedly been aware of the relationship between Keith Cochrane, the chief executive of Carillion, and Third Energy. And you know, perhaps this is a factor, a not insignificant factor, in why it is that Greg Clark has been reluctant to sign off on Barclays Bank, trading as Third Energy's application to FRACK at Kirkby Misperton. And you know, I have to make one reference to Kevin Hollinsnake, who's the MP for Ryedale, which of course is where Third Energy are looking to FRACK. And Kevin Hollinsnake, you know, we all know, has a completely alternate version of reality. But his tweet yesterday really just about sums up the myopic sociopathy of this individual. He says, terrible news for Carillion staff and families, but it is an example of success of outsourcing, not failure. Yeah, black is white, left is right, down is up, and you know, all the alternatives that Kevin Hollinsnake will use in his political newspeak. Outrageous, Kevin. A success? I don't think so. And anyway, no doubt that you will be looking to try to spin this as a reason why Greg Clark should sign off on the application, you know, to FRACK at Kirkby Misperton. Turn a failure into a success. No, Kevin, it'll be turn a failure into a disaster. So anyway, you know, as the day unfolds, it's day 71 since that application was submitted to FRACK at Kirkby Misperton, and of course the longer it goes on, then the less likelihood there is that Greg Clark is going to sign it off. And as I've said before, you know, the reality is that even if he does sign it off, there's going to be it's going to be bombarded with freedom of information requests to establish exactly what criteria he used and what information he had access to that convinced him that signing it off was the right thing to do, when anyone with any sanity knows that it's actually going to be a total disaster. So anyway, that's really about it for today. I'm going to go and find a place to park here somewhere, and then go and support the two people here in court. But meanwhile, it's really, really important to get boots on the ground. It's the lack of boots on the ground that unfortunately is a direct contributor to the fact that we haven't actually shut this industry down yet. The opposition through other channels has been exemplary in every case, but ultimately it's going to come down to boots on the ground. Legal challenges, planning challenges, political challenges, these are all regarded by the corporatocracy and the politicians as a mere inconvenience, as a cost of doing business. And they work on the basis that the British public will eventually simply roll over and say, oh well, yeah, we tried, but we failed, so what can you do? Well, you can do something. You can actually get out, get your boots on the ground. If we had 150 people at Kirby Misperton every day since September the 25th, I wouldn't be standing here now. And if we had 150 people at Misson Springs, then the likelihood is that, first of all, iGas wouldn't be working and from the end of the month until the 1st of September. But, you know, unfortunately, the vast majority of people leave it to a very small handful of people to put in the direct response. So if you can get to Kirby Misperton, or you can get to Preston New Road, or you can get to Misson Springs, you know, please do so. Even if it's only for a couple of hours, every little helps. Well, meanwhile, and I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully at Misson Springs. Good morning, how you doing? I'll be at Misson Springs and be able to give you an update on what transpires here at Mansfield Magistrates Court. So have a great day, and let's keep the fingers crossed that Greg Clark does the right thing, and let's put in the effort to get those emails or letters off to Nottinghamshire County Council to make sure that they do the right thing and uphold Clause 21 of iGas's planning permission, which prevents them from working during the bird breeding season from February to August. So have a great day, and I'll catch you tomorrow.